Hello everybody! It's story time with Grandma Dee. Won't you come and sit with me? Earlier today I had to go outside and scoop the snow off the sidewalk. It was really cold out. And that's why I have my blanket with me today. Oh shoot, let me just show you what I'm talking about. Hi, it's cold outside. After it snows, it's a really good idea to shovel off your steps and your sidewalks for the mailman. But it sure is cold out there. I'm lucky I have a warm home to come home to. Let me hang up my jacket. I'm going to put my sweater on, and so I can warm up a little bit faster. While I do that, I'm going to take my snow boots off, put on my slippers today, because it's one of those days. While I put my slippers on, I want to tell you about one of Grandma Dee's friends. Her name is Brandy, and she wrote me a letter. She asked if I would be her neighbor. And I said, Brandy, I've always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. And you, Allie? And you, Dean? I want you all to be my neighbor. In fact, it's a beautiful day when we're all neighbors. Come on. Let's go and read our story now. If you want, grab a blanket if you're cold. Yes, I am super glad that I'm nice and snugly warm right now. And I'm glad I get to read today's story called The Gingerbread Baby. Let's find out about his home. It was cold outside. It was warm inside. A fine day for gingerbread, Maddie thought. Maddie's mother put the big blue bowl on the table. She lit the stove. Maddie took down the worn-looking cookbook with old-fashioned writing on the cover. He opened it up to the page that said, Gingerbread Boy. They measured and mixed. Maddie rolled the dough into the shape of a gingerbread boy, and they popped him into the oven. Bake a full 8 minutes, no more, no less. Do not peek, the recipe read. Maddie listened to the clock. Tick, tock, tick. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3, 4, 5. Maddie couldn't wait any longer. He opened the oven door. Instead of a gingerbread boy, out jumped a gingerbread baby. He pranced around the big blue bowl. I am the gingerbread baby, fresh from the pan. If you want me, catch me if you can. Maddie's mother reached for the gingerbread baby to put him back in the oven, but he ran all over the kitchen. The door opened up, and in came Maddie's father. What's that delicious smell? He asked, as the gingerbread baby tumbled and ran through his legs and outside into the yard. He ran by the tabby cat. She twitched her tail and sprang at him. They rumbled and tumbled, but the gingerbread baby came out on top. He ran toward the garden wall. The dog caught a whiff of that tasty ginger and sniffed along right behind him. But the gingerbread baby was halfway up when the dog caught up. He barked and he barked at the gingerbread baby, but he climbed over the wall. Maddie was still inside. He heard his mother and father yelling. He heard a cat meowing and a dog barking. And he heard the gingerbread baby shouting, "Catch me if you can!" Maddie opened up that worn-looking cookbook for the second time. Meanwhile, the gingerbread baby wheeled on down the path into the barn. The goats looked up as he somersaulted across their backs. The last one tried to catch him, but the gingerbread baby was too fast. Martha and Madeline were standing by the well when the gingerbread baby stopped to take a drink. They looked at each other and they winked. Martha started to talk to him while Madeline tiptoed up behind him with a bucket. But they couldn't fool that gingerbread baby. He took a braid from Martha and a braid from Madeline and tied them in a knot and then ran down the road. Back in the house, Matty stirred, mixed, and rolled the dough. He shaped it, put it in a pan, and put it in the oven. Tick-tock, tick-tock. 8 long minutes, and this time he did not peek. "I will catch him if I can," Matty said. As he bounced along, the gingerbread baby saw a farm wagon ahead of him. He jumped in and he settled down for a ride next to a mama pig. The smell of gingerbread was just too much for Mama Pig. She tossed him high in the air, closed her eyes, and opened her mouth. But the gingerbread baby twisted in the air and came down hard on that pig's snout. "I am the gingerbread baby, too quick for the mother and the father, too fast for the cat and the dog and the goats, too clever for Martha and Madeline, too smart for the mama pig. Who's left? Catch me if you can." Feeling smug, that gingerbread baby strolled along by himself until he came to a bridge that crossed over to the village. Just as he got to the middle of it, he heard a bunch of feet, and he saw a crowd ahead of him. The gingerbread baby was trapped. He jumped up onto the railing, did a backflip through the air, and landed on some ice underneath the bridge. The ice bobbled along with the gingerbread baby dancing on top, and he was singing in a loud voice, "Look at me, what do you see? I'm the best gingerbread baby ever." Then his feet got cold, and he jumped ashore. But who was watching from the trees? It was a fox. He crept up behind the gingerbread baby, ready to eat him up. But the fox couldn't help himself, and he licked his chops. Smack, smack! The gingerbread baby heard him, and he ran as fast as he could. Just when the fox was catching up, the gingerbread baby saw the milk and the cheese man. The perfect hiding place, he thought. He lifted the lid and lowered himself inside. He was so pleased he sang again. "Ha, ha, hee, hee, you'll never find me. I'm the gingerbread baby. Catch me if you can." The milk and the cheese man heard the gingerbread baby. "Who is meddling in my milk?" He lifted the lid, but the gingerbread baby was all ready. He jumped up and he tweaked his nose. Now the milk and the cheese man, the fox, all the people on the bridge, the mama pig, Martha and Madeline, the goats, the dog, the cat, the father and the mother, they were all there. And they were all chasing the gingerbread baby. And boy, oh boy, were they getting closer. And the gingerbread baby knew it. He was not as peppy and proud as he had been, for he was getting tired. But he did smell something, and he decided to follow his nose into the woods. He couldn't believe what he saw. There in the middle of the clearing was a gingerbread house, frosted with sugar, covered with candy, doors with peppermint handles on them. It was wide open, that door was, and the gingerbread baby clapped his hand with joy, and he ran inside the house. In a tick-tock tick, everyone arrived in the clearing, but all they could find was some crumbs, some frosting, a little bit of candy. The father explained, "I wonder what happened to the gingerbread baby. I wonder if he finally met his match." The mother said, "I wonder who it is." "Oh well, let's go home and tell Maddie." "Hello, Maddie," the father said. "We never did catch that gingerbread baby. All we found were some crumbs in the snow." "Well, Mom says, I see you've been very busy. You made a gingerbread house." "Too bad we never caught that gingerbread baby." And Maddie said, "That's too bad." Only Maddie could hear the tiny voice from inside the gingerbread house. "I'm the little gingerbread baby, lucky as can be, to be living in a house that Maddie made for me." Do you ever feel like the gingerbread baby running around from one thing to the next? Or do you ever feel like you're the person that's chasing something? You know, like all the people and animals did to the gingerbread baby. Maybe you don't feel this way at all, but at least you know what it feels like to be tired after running for a long time. And you just want to rest. And maybe like me today, if it's cold outside, you just want to go home and get warm. I bet you're warm to have a happy home to rest in, just like our gingerbread baby. Tonight, in your prayers, you can thank baby Jesus for your home and all the people in your home, because the gingerbread baby taught us how to be happy and warm in our houses with the people we love. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you next time with Story Time with Grandma Dee.